Your allies, France, which has hostages held in Gaza, and the UK both said the resolution firmly calls for the release of hostages. And to most people reading it, there's little difference between this language and what you abstained on in March. So why did the U.S. feel the need to block the resolution at this time?
So it's a good question. The resolution does call for the release of hostages. What it doesn't do is link the release of hostages to an immediate unconditional ceasefire. And we have made clear throughout this process that we cannot support a resolution that calls for an unconditional, immediate ceasefire and delinks it from the release of hostages. There are still 7 American citizens who are being held hostage in Gaza, and we are not going to walk away from them.
What was defective about
the defective is that they were not linked. We believe it's important that you get a ceasefire. You get a ceasefire that secures the release of hostages. Because let's be clear about when people talk about an immediate ceasefire, what they mean is they mean for Israel to immediately stop fighting. You think Hamas is going to respect a UN Security Council resolution calling for the release of hostages? No, we don't think they are at all.
Prefer that the hostage release be put in the sentence before the ceasefire?
We think it needs to be linked together, that the ceasefire...
But how much more linked can they be?
You could say, so we put together a bunch of different, a bunch of alternative formulations of the language. I'll just give you one here. A ceasefire that secures the release of hostages. A ceasefire
and you proposed that language and people...
Maybe not that exact language. We proposed a number of different formulations of the language that were not accepted. And I, for the life of me, can't understand why they weren't accepted if the parties backing the resolution really wanted to get to something that could pass the Security Council.